What's up, YouTube? There's 30 of you. There's 30 of you right now. That's insanity. I guess everyone's excited for what's in this box. Oh, I'm ready. I'm tired, but I'm ready. So we got some people in here. We got start at the top. We got Michael and Robert and a name I can't pronounce. I'm just gonna call him Callie because I can't. Yep, Carlos and VGEX and Ray and TC and 8-Bit Saint. Fotis in the house. John Mack. Sorry, no teddy bears today. We got giraffes. The llama, Chris Galata, Mr. Emrouse, Nate, the Jekyll, Dennis Day, Steve. So yeah, we got something cool. So I build a lot of bears. You see them behind me. There's even one in a fancy enclosure over here that's being tested to see what temp the enclosure gets to. Oh, Davy's there. We want bearded air traffic controller guy. Um, So this is a little different. This is a Zaribo. Link is in the description, www.zaribo.com. In the same vein as Bear, this is a modification to a stock Prusa printer. Its goal is to give you more Z height using 3030 T slot extrusion versus 2040 V slot. And it's now in a new revision. So the new revisions, everything runs on a BMG extruder. For Prusa, the 3030 T slot, GT3 belts from Gates. There's other nice little changes, and we'll go over that. Oh, we got tripod. So what am I adding to what's in the box? I'm adding a mosquito hot end, which is right here. There's a mosquito BMG Bondtech extruder. There is an SKR board. There is a heat bed, and a bunch of printed parts. Yeah, here's the SKR board. So everything else I need should be in this box, and this is the biggest, baddest kit they offer now. So this is again 320 millimeters in print Z height, same bed size, so 235 by 250 by 210 Prusa bed size, but they have 10 millimeter rails on X, Y, and Z. So big, fat, thick rails. The bed is, or the carriage is a custom carriage because it's going to use 10 millimeter block style linear bearings. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Good question. So 8-Bit Saint asks, they do make a 420 version. That's a little bit much for me. I looked at what I print and the width of things that I print. So when I looked at it, I was like, I can't use that 420 if I can't go wider. So what is the SKR board? The SKR board is awesome. So it's just a 32-bit controller. You can run your own custom stepper. So I'm going to be running TMC 22.9. So smoother motion, quieter. I can run stock Marlin with all kinds of custom features like gantry leveling. So I'll actually measure points at either side of the bed and then level the gantry to the bed, which is the proper way of leveling. You don't want to ram things at the top because those top pieces might not be level to bed. So you're going to have a cockeyed X gantry to the bed. Better thermal, better protections all around. UBL, which is a much fancier version of mesh bed leveling. Yeah. With the Zaribo kit, you need to start with the donor Prusa. They have everything. You can actually buy an entire kit with everything you need. I'm also bringing motors. I forgot that. I have very special motors that I picked up. I don't know where I put them, but I have some 0.9 degree motors that are going to go on X and Y, and they're the fat ones. Oh, I put them over there in that box that I can't reach. So let me go reach those. I think my cord is long enough. It might not be. If not, I'll use my foot and drag the box over here. Haha. So here they are. 0.9 degree. So those are LDO These are their 0.9 degree hybrid steppers. Oop, block my face and it will focus. Much taller, so a lot more torque. So we're going to be putting those on. Other than that, it's going to be a Zaribo 320. So we're going to have 0.9 X and Y, 320Z, SKR board, Mosquito Magnum BMG extruder. So this is going to be crazy. How's the MOSFET on that card? The MOSFET is fake or real. I don't know, it works. No BL touch. It'll still use a pin to probe, which I have a spare pin to probe in this drawer. So I should have all the parts. I shouldn't have to buy anything. Let me go back to here. See where we're at here on my tests. 38 degrees Celsius, which is crazy. So we're at almost 40 degrees Celsius in the enclosure just by using a 100C bed. And we've dropped humidity from 65% to 33% just from the heat from the bed. Having installed dual Z control on 2 of my printers. Yeah! Open it. Open. Okay. Let me move some things. They also have a box of printed parts. So if you buy the kit, they come in multiple kits, so you can buy it with everything. You can buy it assembled. You can buy it with just a 220 upgrade, a 320 upgrade, a 420 upgrade. You can buy it with 8mm rails or 10mm thick, or sorry, 10mm rods or 8mm rods, which I have some 8mm rods right here to compare. Gotta compare. So you can see what the difference is. Yeah, beefy 0.9s are the best. So this comes straight from Germany. That's going to be your only thing. It took a while. DHL is fantastic. Not really. Ugh. Ugh. So many things. So we've got some air cells. Oh, that's sexy. That's sexy. They include a big bag of golden barons. Golden bears. Gotta have your Haribos. This is the custom carriage. Let's take a look at this. Just gonna pull this thing out one at a time. So these are custom made milled aluminum and anodized carriages. So the difference between this and a Mark III carriage, as you can see, there's no bearing holes. These are actually holes for the bearing blocks. So that's really cool. Set that down. And right here are all the bearings that you need. Big bag of bearings. All Misumi, by the way. So it is Misumi T-slot, Misumi bearings, Misumi bushings, all that stuff. So these are straight type linear bushings from Misumi. Because instead of using 2 small ones, they use 1 large bearing. Can't wait for mine to ship. Yeah, Brad. Here are the bearing blocks. So instead of having bearings at the bottom, we use bearing blocks for the bed. Very nice. They are sealed and there is absolutely no grease in them, but what's cool about these is they're going to be really sexy and they're very light for their size. The sugar-free ones. Chris is never going to buy sugar-free Haribos. Ooh. Yeah, it's going to be rigid. So again, 3030 T-slot, custom milled bed, or custom milled carriage. But it's really cool. So you got 3 big bushings. You've got 1 small 10mm linear bushing, and then 3 big linear bushings. So instead of using, Prusa uses 2 small in the X carriage, or 3 small in the X carriage, 2 small in the Z carriage, and then 3 on the bed. So there's 10 bearings on a normal Prusa. They're going to use 1 long on the top, 1 short on the bottom for the carriage, 2 long on the X-axis, or I guess Z-axis, and then the 3 blocks on the bed. So much sturdier. What's up, Wolfgang? So Wolfgang is the man behind the Zaribo. Look at these bag o' nuts. So we got some Wolfgang. Everyone can say hi to Mr. Wolfgang. He'll probably be able to answer questions better. So inside here are extension cables because we are increasing the Z-axis height. So we need longer cables. Now, I have an SKR board, so I'm going to have to do some modifications to these and also do some other fun things so that way they fit my use case. He also includes longer bed and power supply cables since things are further away. And GT3 belt, which I have a bunch of. So this is, oh, this is LL2 GT belt. Okay, so I've got this, and then in my bag over there, I've got GT3 belt as well. So I'm probably going to go with the GT3 belt because I have some GT3 magic. So here's the bag of rods. Oh boy. I guess let's pull that out later. In here are all of the, look at those T-nuts. Focus camera, focus camera. There we go. Look at those T-nuts. They're huge. Huge. And angle pieces and caps, and that is like a 10-pound bag of hardware. No lies. No foolies. A power cord adapter, because I'll need that. All of the wire care management things. A whole bunch of T-slot. Oh, wow. All packaged beautifully. We got some of these slot caps. So these are just a little slide in the slot caps so you can cover things. Big bag of rods. And these must be the Z motors. And of course, here is a bag of more hardware. Can't go wrong without your zip ties. As I hold all of these things. Chris with his puns. Better believe it. So T-slot, T-slot, T-slot. Caps. Let's take a look at these rods. Yeah, SKR gives you more features versus the BTT02. Also, the LPC chips are more stable for now. Here we go. Look at this. This is such a fat rail. Or rod. Ugh. Look at that. That is a fat rod. Let me grab a standard Prusa 8mm rod. Mind you, I don't have any unused ones, so I have to open up a fresh bag of rods. So my hand's going to get greasy. I blame the internet. So if you've never seen Prusa's standard 8mm rods, you're going to see what happens when you get the thickness. Thickness. Come here. Oh, Misumi in your packaging. You're like, hey, let's make these rods so tight I can't get them out of the package without cutting the whole package open. Easy enough. Elephantitis. So here you go. Here's your 8mm versus 10mm rod. Look at that. That is some thick rod. Now the reason that they upgraded from 8 is if you've never owned a Prusa, when you get the X carriage going and sliding around and the bed sliding around, you can actually distort the rods. You can actually twist the whole assembly and the rods will deflect. The 10mm rod should not deflect. It should not bend. Yeah. But you can bend the standard Prusa 8mm rods. I will do the bend test. That'd be fat. So we got around. So these are matched. So these are matched rods to bearings. So they should be much better. They are too, but it's such a difference. Like 2mm, like holding this rod after holding 8mm rods all my life is just kind of crazy. And of course they're Misumi, so they're really well machined. They're hardened. You shouldn't be wearing these things out. So let's put that back. I'll put that in the box. We won't need that for a while. And what's in here? Oh, tell me these are motors. Oh, they're motors. Look at these. Much taller motors. They don't even fit on the screen. So they don't look that much taller, but they'll give me a full 320 millimeters of Z height. They are Zaribo motors made by LDO. Yep, it's only good stuff. Like, that's the best part about buying a Zaribo, is everything's just like a Prusa. You're going to get high quality everything. So high quality rods, high quality bearings, high quality motors. And of course, I'm only adding more high quality goodness to it. So mine will differ in that it won't use an INC board, so I won't be using Zaribo's custom firmware. I won't be using the regular 1.8 motors, which is awesome because the SKR will be able to handle that much better. Let's take a look at these extrusions. Again, I believe they use Masumi extrusions, and they are pre-cut and pre-drilled for attachment. So your 30-30 extrusion, pre-cut, pre-drilled for easy assembly. And these are the Z-axis ones. Let me see if they have what I think they have. They do. They are pre-drilled from underneath. So unlike the Bear, where you're measuring everything and placing things and using build guides to make sure things line up, on the Zaribo, the Z-axis is pre-drilled from underneath. Of course it won't focus because it still sees my face. Moving my hand over. So pre-drilled, pre-tapped. Oh yeah, gonna use 0.9 degrees. So 30 mil. I'm used to these. I'm used to 20-40 extrusion. Seeing 30-30 T slot is like a whole new world. So these must be the fronts. Look at that. So this must be the Y-axis. And this must be the X-axis. Oh no, these are the... So here's where the Z-axis would attach to. So this is a lot different. So something new to get used to. So again, they're all pre-drilled. So you would just connect it that way. There's other braces, of course. It's not just the screw holding it together. Inside this, where's that ginormous bag of... In this ginormous bag of goodies, there are 90-degree angles and fancy rubber feet. Actual rubber feet. They do include the nicer... I think these are the LDO. Let's see. I believe these are the LDO with bigger bearings. The 16-tooth pulleys. Caps, more caps, lots of caps. Spill out the caps. So we've got, again, we have a bunch of 90-degree angle pieces that are solid aluminum. So that's going to hold us in place. So they're going to be reinforced. And I believe there's more of that goodness. Wow, and everything's labeled. Oh, look at these T-nuts. Actual slide-in T-nuts. Something different. Do you print the Bear parts from CF? I use a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. If you get good material from a trusted brand, they should not clog. Can't even imagine a 30-33. 30-30 is pretty wicked. And Zaribo goes way above and beyond, and everything is labeled. It comes with all of the hardware. So I mean, all of the hardware, everything that you need. I mean, here's your fat M5. Man, so many sexy things in here. Oh yeah, here's the screws for... This is the screw for attaching, looks like the bottom to the top for the Z-axis. It's like a freaking pinky finger. Yep. 320 upgrade with it's 530. Yep, it's not a bad deal. Again, these are a really good deal. Like again, instead of sourcing your own things to make it work, you just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna buy it all as one kit, save a few bucks, and be good to go. So we'll put all that back. They're all labeled. Man, good stuff. Everything's very well packed. There's no damage to anything. Let's see here. Put all this back real quick and check out chat. There we go. Boom. Oh, there's a little guidebook here. A checklist. Can't go wrong with a checklist. And this is what their printer would look like. That's the 2020 size. So that's the Zaribo 320 or 220. This guy is a pimp. No. I just want to show the world of awesome things, especially when it comes to modding. So we got all that. We got all that. Let's take a look. So these are connectors, because again, when you buy your Prusa, the connectors won't be long enough. So they contain the little length extender, so that way you are good to go. All included for your printing needs. So this should make the conversion very easy. I say it's funny, this is the same stuff I use. So if I dig in my drawer down here, and I pull this out, it's the same stuff. Different gangster. All right, so let's take a look at everything we have here. Now they have this is the LL yep, LL2GTRF. I do have some Gates GT3 pulleys and GT3 belts. I really wanted to try that on a printer, so I'm going to do that on this printer. That will be a super fun conversion. So if you've never seen the Gates, the nicer Gates pulleys, let's see if I can find, here they are. So these are the Gates pulleys. They're actually machined aluminum. They're very pretty. Gonna do that on this printer. So I'll put that in my little stack there. What else do we have here? Let's go over everything one last time. Huge ass bag of components. I mean, huge ass bag of hardware. That is, I guarantee you all this hardware is at least 10 pounds. I mean, that is a heavy bag of components that I've most likely disorganized. They're well labeled. Should make everything easy. All the bearings are very easy to find. They're still in the original packaging, so you can see that they are official. Masumi bearings and bushings and everything like that. Is it a GT3 belt? Because the code on it is actually LL2GTRF on the belt. Now I don't know where I put the belt. Oh, there it is. Yeah. The belt itself is the 2GT belt. Power grip 2GT RF. Who packed this? Who packed it? Oh yeah, it says GT2 belt on here. Yeah, who cares? I've got, this will work. And I also have GT3 belt. Yeah, this is the nylon reinforced. This is the good stuff too. Also what I use. What's up? We got Rosie in chat. You can see me in a crushed velvet hat. So there's the belt. All the extended wires for the bed and power supply. I will be upgrading to the Meanwell 320 power supply. Where did I put that? I literally printed everything for this printer and organized everything. But then for the enclosure build, I moved everything. So that's a beautiful case. I probably can't find it. Can I maybe put it in this box? That'd be silly if I put it in that box. That's my box of things to put away. I'll find it. But I'll be using a Meanwell power supply. Can't wait to use this. And this looks like milled, like Mix 6. You can see the milling line. So it's actually flat. So it's not just stamped aluminum. This is CNC milled. Fabulous. And it comes in black. Everyone's favorite color. It's slimming. And when you're 320 millimeters tall, being slim is a bonus. More hardware. Cable extenders. Got to have your fire protection goodness. Some cable wraps. Power socket, because the... Where is that Meanwell power supply? Things I should have grabbed before the stream. The Meanwell power supply, where I printed the beautiful case for it. Let's see here if I can see it amongst my mess of things. Wait a cotton pickin' minute. I'm back. What's up, Michael P? Yeah, so this is the Zaribo electronics box for the Meanwell power supply. It's got a nice brace at the top. This is the power relay for it. It actually lights up, which is sexy. Buy Bitcoin. Why is there someone called Buy Bitcoin in here? That's weird. It is the slim power supply. It does have the fan, which is a little annoying, but it's a really good power supply. 350 watt and I believe 15 amps. So it's a good power supply. Well, that'll go on there. I'm going to put that in my somewhere where I can find it, because I need to wire this. And again, we're going to do a build video ASAP. This is just an overview. Plenty of these. And I want to get some impressions. Packaging is great. Bubble wrap and tape. Oh, actually, this is recyclable. Goes over there. My recycling bin is that way. Got to make sure trash goes one way. All of the extrusion looks great. The cuts are all CNC cut. I mean, it's all Masumi, so those are good cuts, good clean cuts. So that'll take the screw heads. Oops, forgot a foot. We'll put the foot in the box. We got some, again, if you've never seen these things, they just pop into the slot. You can run your cables in the T slot and then just pop this thing in. I'll just slide it in because I'm crazy like that. So just a nice little sleekness there if you don't like that. I have them on my bears to cover the wire for the LED lighting. We're now down to 30% humidity in the box. Put that in there. Any questions? Let's see if we have any questions. I'm good at looking at everything. Forgot to say hello. What up, Mark Owens? 9 a.m. We'll start a trend of 3D printing community. iHomey bearings. So we have a 3D case file for the Meanwell. Ooh, 450. That's a really nice power supply. This is my very first Zaribo. The bears are cheaper to get. Well, not cheaper. They're less expensive to get into. You just buy the frame, and everything moves over to it. So it's two different ideologies. Zaribo has the ideology that there are things that need to be improved. There's a better power supply. There are better rods and bearings to get. There are better belts to get. There's better components besides the frame. So Zaribo had made sure to add those into their kits. So it makes the kit more expensive. Things like having a 10 millimeter rod kit, things like having a new upgraded bed that uses block style bearings, things like that. So when you take into consideration those things that you would like to add, like I upgrade all my printers to Meanwell power supplies because the Prusa power supplies are bare minimum. Again, which makes sense. They sell a kit; it's not really meant to be upgraded. There are things like you know, and also the design takes in certain changes. So if we look at some of the printed parts, you can see some very excellent ideas here. So the X-axis motor holder has a strain relief. So you'd actually route the motor here, and then the wire would actually route through this, so that way you have strain relief on your X-axis motor, which I have added strain relief add-ons to my bears. Again, going to 10 millimeter blocks, and you can see it's one giant bearing versus lots of little bearings. Is this kit? It is a kit from Zaribo. So if you head to Zaribo.com, they've got multiple different kits. There's a 220, a 320, a 420, and they've got different grades. So if you want to just bring all your Prusa parts over, they've got a kit for that for each stage. If you want better rods, the 10 millimeter rods, they've got kits for that. If you want the upgraded block, they've got that. If you want a kit that is completely ready and good to go, they've got that. You need printed parts, they got that. So they've got everything. Why not linear rails? So linear rails are awesome. Their only issue with linear rails is alignment. Aligning linear rails is a lot harder than rods. A lot harder, even on a Cartesian. So your ability as a builder is going to be tested. So if you've never actually built a printer that uses linear rails, it might look smooth, but until you get it perfectly aligned, the actual benefit isn't there. Because if they're off even a degree, you're going to get artifacts and binding and stuff like that. So the rods are much easier, and being thick, heavy rods with much larger bearings, you get the same benefits in a certain way. I still would prefer rails, but that's because I have experienced having to build printers with rails, and learning how to line them, it becomes a challenge that I'm willing to accept. For the majority of people, that that shouldn't be the norm. Like there's no need for the casual 3D printer to go, I need linear rails. Unless you're printing with really fast or printing with, let's say, a Core XY machine, yep, you want linear rails. When you're printing with a normal Cartesian printer and you're not going to print like 300 millimeters per second, which again, no one's printing at 300 millimeters per second, at least not in real time. Rods are going to be cheaper. They're going to be just as durable. They're going to have an ease of assembly that is much better for everyone. Let's see here. Okay, I already mentioned that. I can't find 0.9 motors on 0. I don't know if they carry 0.9 X and Y motors. They should carry a full assortment of LDO motors. I know they have 0.9 extruder motors. The pancake style ones, I don't know if they have these big beefy, so Wolfgang will have to let you know if he has these and where. But these are awesome. I've always wanted to use these larger 0.9 degree motors, and the Zaribo build allows me to use this. So thank you, John, for the $2.99 for my first beer. Actually, I'll be streaming after this in the FDM lounge. We'll talk about this and other cool stuff that arrived. Like I had a whole assortment of crap arrive at my house in the last few days, and yesterday I took a day off. It was the first day the lady's been around in 2 weeks, so we just no internet, no nothing. We just went out and fished all day and hung out and had barbecue, and so I'm still catching up to certain things. What bed do you use? So I'm using, this is a cloned Prusa bed. This is made by LDO. So as you can see, it doesn't have the Prusa Research logo on there. It does have the made by Prusa logos and the MK52 designation, as well as the Jeans edition with all the cautions and stuff. So this is just a regular Prusa Mark III bed. So it's their magnetic PCB bed. That's what I'll be using. Let's see. I will. So far, I'm enjoying everything so far. The thing also is a calibration tool when you use. Ah, okay. Timo, what did you say? Yeah, some prints will have some good kits. Like if you get the 3D fused linear rail kits, will have calibration tools and stuff like that, and alignment tools. I am excited to mount blocks. My very first 3D printer had blocks, and I like them. I really liked blocks. Um, let's see. Kind of weird they include the rods for X kit upgrade, but the rods aren't included for the Y kit. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it. Okay, so they'll have the 0.9 soon. And again, I don't recommend these if you have an Einstein board. So if you're using the stock, and again, this is probably why Wolfgang doesn't carry it. They don't, they haven't really worked with these, stock Marlin boards that allow you to do things. So putting a 0.9 degree motor is a test of patience on an Einstein board because the firmware that Prusa uses is a very old version of Marlin, and it's not the easiest to go. I'm gonna just change everything. Like it's not just I'm gonna double my steps on my X and Y. The 8-bit board has a hard time handling 200 steps per axis versus the 100 that's typically on a Prusa, as well as senseless homing doesn't have an easy way of tuning. So depending on the motor you have and how tight your belts are, you might not be able to actually use senseless homing on your Einstein board with these 0.9s, and that's been very difficult. What model is that, Zaribo? This is the Zaribo 320 with the 10 millimeter rod upgrade on X and Y, as well as the upgraded bearing block bed. So it's a custom CNC machined aluminum bed, not bed, carriage, Y carriage that supports the bed. And with that comes 10 millimeter block bearings. Unrelated. If I have a Teresa, bring you a beard straightener. I have a beard straightener. I prefer my curly beard. I've straightened it and it just gets thin. Oh, we got 3D Jimmy in the house. So let's have some initial points. The price point. Now, someone like myself that actually looks at custom parts, these are all high quality parts. So you've got one of the best brands for linear, or sorry, extrusions. One of the best brands for extrusion, Misumi. They are CNC milled. They are cut to exact lengths. If I stand them up on end on a flat surface, there won't be gaps between them. Again, no gap between them. Like if you get cheap stuff from AliExpress, there'll be one will lean one way, one will lean the other way. I'm not worried about that with Zaribo. High quality extrusions. High quality rods, high quality bearings. This is an expensive upgrade, and it's expensive because the components are quality. If you were to piece this yourself, I guarantee you can probably save a few bucks, but you're not buying Misumi extrusions. You're not having them CNC machined as well. They might just be cut on a regular cutter. They might have a higher tolerance, so that way you might have plus or minus, 2 millimeters versus plus or minus whatever these are. And then there is the issue of the other components. The motors are all LDO motors. You've got all the cable wraps, all the extensions. The hardware is, I'm guessing, all Misumi hardware, because it all look like good hardware. It's all black anodized hardware, and they're using big hardware. So instead of skimping on smaller bolts and nuts, they're using bigger nuts and bolts. So this is an expensive upgrade. So cost-wise, looking at the value and looking at what you get and what you have to spend, I give it 4 angry Wakakis on cost to what you get ratio. I'm never going to give anything a 5-star rating off the bat. Once I look at it more, this might get revised, but you're paying for quality components. You're paying for it being well packed and shipped with really good shipping prices. The shipping price was very fair. It would be really awesome to see this, like an American Zaribo distributor, so that way you can get them faster. But whatever, it's shipping. You basically right now it's just pay and pray that it arrives, and it arrived just a couple days late. And that's not Zaribo's fault. That's just DHL. So it is a really good cost to benefit ratio. Will you see that in a print? And that's where it can't be a 5-star, because will you see a difference between Masumi parts and, let's say, something a little bit less? Yes and no. The tolerances being tighter and the components being more matched should provide visible advantages. But what is that visible advantage? And I've printed with less than favorable parts and more than favorable parts, and you're pulling hairs. So Zaribo is bringing you the probably highest quality kit that I've ever seen. Again, this is all super high end components, and they're all matched. So you don't have to do any of the work, which is awesome. So a 4-star, a 4 angry work hockey is not a knock at the product of the quality that you're getting into price ratio. It's just, I'm being fair, because it's expensive, but you're paying for it and you're getting it. You're getting a quality kit. The next thing I want to talk about for the kit is, again, I can't get into print quality and things like that. I do have an expected result, and I believe that this machine is going to print fantastic. It's going to be a workhorse. 3030 extrusion is fabulous. The components look awesome. The machining looks great. Everything looks like I had imagined it as a high quality kit. So again, it's going to get a 4 out of 5. Right now, it's just a guesstimate. It could go up. It could be 4.5. Again, you won't ever see me drop a 5 out of 5. It's just not going to happen. It could literally print gold, and it's still going to get less than a 5. I don't believe. My mantra on product reviews is nothing is a 5. There's always going to be something better. And I have to also weigh in, is this kit for everyone? So for me, as someone who wants a workhorse printer, this is perfect for me. So if I had a 4.5 button, I would hit the 4.5 button right now. So yeah, I need to make a 0.5 picture. I don't have one of those. But you know, again, price for performance, easily a 4.5 out of 5. Again, you're never gonna get a 5 out of me, but 4.5 out of 5 for sure. This is not a Creality extrusion kit where you screw in really thin screws into some 2040 extrusion. It should be sturdier than a Bear. The Bear does use big metal plates, but drilling directly into the points and using those large screws will give it a nice strong anchor, along with the 90-degree angle pieces. AKA in a scale of 4, they get a 4. Basically, scale of up to like 4.9, they get a 4.5. Might need a lot of those gummy bears for me to put it together. Yeah, there's a huge bag of gummy bears, and they stuck with the trend of gummy bears. That's awesome. My guess 3/4 for each picture. Buying a set of bearings for any bear and pray for Masumi. Gonna pick up a roll. Yeah, yeah, and then I guess the only other thing I can really rate is, again, what my expectations are. And I feel this is going to be a wonderful, like, again, workhorse printer, because it's using a true design. Cartesian printers are a very simple design. It doesn't have much issue. The only issues I'm going to have, again, I'm straying off the path of a Zaribo. I'm going to have my own board, my own motors, my own firmware, um, and other fun stuff. So again, it's going to be this dance of, Ken Chris can really compare it to his bears, which aren't tall. So I do have a taller bear frame that I've built and designed. It's over there. I won't go drag it out. It's only 250 on the Z. So yeah, again, right now everything stands 4.5 out of 5, because nothing will ever get a 5 from me. I have to leave room. And I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to build this. It's been a while. Like, it's the one thing that I haven't built for Prusa is a Zaribo. And I'm going to pimp it out as much as I can. Again, it's going to have the 0.9, the beefy 0.9. So much higher torque than your standard smaller, what was that, 30 something millimeter sized 0.9 degree motors. I think I'm shorter and bigger. I have my own open source printer in the works, but it's going to be from scratch. So it's not going to be a Zaribo. It's not going to be a Bear. It's going to be a printer that a beginner would be like, okay, I've got $500. What can I build? That's not a Prusa. That's not a CR10, but will be more workhorse. But again, not as professional as like a Prusa. It won't come with the customer support because again, when you buy a Zaribo, you get customer support, you get email. I think they even have chat support. So it's you pay extra for those little things. So when you're building this thing, if you have an issue, unlike you sourcing the parts, if you have an issue, who do you call? Like, uh, nobody. You just don't. So I have links in the description to Zaribo's main page as well as their GitHub because all the files are on their GitHub. So if you want to edit anything, change anything, somebody asking what the parts are made, what color? Yeah, so everything's in black. It's in CFPTG. But if you haven't looked today, Atomic released dark cherry red CFPTG, and Chris bought a bunch of that stuff. So, yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of dark cherry red CFPTG in my life. So now I just have to find things to print it in. Too bad the red bear. I don't want to disassemble it. Again, once you build these things and they work, I'm getting to the point where I don't want to disassemble it anymore. So, any other questions on the Zaribo? Anything else Zaribo related that anybody wants to ask? I am ready. And I don't know much because I haven't built one. I haven't looked at the directions. I haven't studied anything. I just know what's on the website. I know what I've seen. They have their own community on Facebook. So if you have questions there, my enclosure is now at 32% humidity. What's CFPTG? So CFPTG is carbon fiber PETG. So PETG is kind of like this gold standard for printing printer parts in because it's easy to print and has a high heat deflection temperature around 80 C. The only downfall of PETG is it tends to be, even though it has wonderful layer bonding, it tends to be a little flexible. I prefer the CFPTG because you still get the great layer bonding, but you also gain some rigidity. So it's more like PLA or ABS in that instance now. So you have a PETG product with the stiffness of ABS, which means less deflection, more accurate printing. Again, it's not measurable. I mean, it is measurable, but it's not like I'm going to print this in CFPTG and all my printers are going to print amazingly well. It's, there's a minor benefit to do, and it looks gorgeous. Like these parts, again, like these parts look amazing when they're printed in CFPTG. It's just, and this is Atomic CFPTG, which is probably the best on the market, hands down. Like, let's see about stepper. Yes, I bought it. So this is a kit where you'd bring your printer to, and then you take your Mark III, you take it apart, and you take the components to it. I just bought a bed because it comes with a carriage and all the bearings and all the rods. I don't have to bring any rods over, and I bought a power supply and I bought motors. So I made my own printer for a lot less than, because the bed is like 80. These motors are 20 a piece. There's $40 there. The board with steppers is 60. So much cheaper than taking a Mark III and then buying a Zaribo upgrade and then mashing it and then be left with frame and rods and bearings. So there's less waste in this process. It also means I can build it the way I want. I also brought the Mosquito Magnum BMG. So another component that's coming to it. It's going to print some high flow goodness. What firmware does Zaribo use? Zaribo uses Zaribo's custom firmware, which is a fork of Prusa's stock firmware that is, there's like 3 or 4 guys that work on it and make it all sexy so that way it passes all the calibrations. You can use all the Prusa, like ease of use. I call them quality of life updates. Yeah, CFPTG, it does. Like if you printed PTG, like I don't like super glossy filament. I prefer the ABS look. So if you want something that's like ABS, again, it's not going to be the same heat temp deflection. You're going to have 80 versus 110, but you're going to get that same look. Great layer bonding, much easier to print. You just need a hard nozzle of some sort. Most use so just do PLA. You can use PLA to make printer parts. The only issue is when you get to the hot end, the PLA will most likely deform in some way, shape, or form. So you'll want to print that in a better material. And PETG should print on any printer. It should. SKR 1.4 on the Zaribo. Oh, would you mount? Yeah, I am mounting. It is going to have an SKR 1.4. That's what's in the bag. SKR 1.4 with 2209s. I'm using Juan's SKR 1.4 case for the Zaribo. Fun stuff like that. Yeah, so I grabbed the 320 upgrade kit with the 10mm rod upgrade, with the better bed, the better Y carriage and bearing blocks. So that means all I needed to bring to the equation was a bed, motors, an extruder, and a board. Which, if you went with the stock Einstein, you're spending $120. So I'm going SKR because it's $60 and I can do more stuff. And I'm gonna, on my GitHub, I will have a repository for Zaribo firmware for SKR boards. Yeah, I mean, if you print PLA, it should be fine. But you have a Hemera, so most of that heat isn't really dissipating to the mounts and stuff, so that should be fine. It's when you build, like, let's say you printed this entire thing in PLA, and then here's the actual hot end. This stuff would probably get a little warpy, melty. When the rest of it is actually metal, or like, let's say the mount is, on a lot of printers, the mount's up here and there's not all these plastic bits, then you're fine printing it PLA. Yep, it'll have sensorless homing for sure, because the SKR board with 2209s has sensorless homing, and I'm running them all on these printers, so we'll make sure sensorless homing works on that. They are dude, these parts, especially these motor parts, like the X-axis, like, these parts are just, like, it doesn't look like you 3D printed them. That's the best part about Atomic CFPTG. They do not look 3D printed. They look like some kind of magical printing thing stamped them out. Like, again, it's just fabulous stuff. That'll be fun. It just released today, so I just ordered my spools today, and they're already set to ship out. Hopefully tomorrow. So if they ship out tomorrow, I should have it Saturday, because I live 3.5 hours from Atomic, so usually really quick. What's up, Kyle? It is friggin' cool. That's scared. Actually, Matthew, that will be on. I have another video. I got a Mark 2.5S that I'm going to convert to an SKR. So that is coming. You will. You'll buy lots of them because you can't get them in the UK land or anywhere in Europe land yet. So yeah. So this will be a fun journey. I don't know what's going on tomorrow, but for sure Friday, I will post a link to the first build stuff. So I'm going to probably break it down into 2 builds. I'm going to break it down to building the frame first, and like just building the whole printer together, and then another video on just the firmware. So the build one's probably going to be pretty long. I've never built one of these. I've never looked at the manual. I'm going to look at the manual like I just bought this and I have no idea what I'm doing. So everyone can follow along with me as I assemble this incorrectly. So that will probably be Friday. I don't know what the weekend looks like. I most likely won't do a on the hotbed this Saturday. I am wiped, and I need a week off from that. So we'll do an on the hotbed. Maybe we will. I'll figure it out. Maybe we'll get Wolfgang on the hotbed on Saturday morning and talk Zaribo. Make it Zaribo week. The last week in May is Zaribo week officially in the United States. Don't see the red CF. It's not red. It's dark cherry red. So if you go to their PETG, and they might be sold out. Like, he made a limited run. So atomicfilaments.com. And we go to PETG. And there it is. Dark cherry carbon fiber extreme. Only 42 rolls left. Unrelated, just came back from the doctor and got results back from my annual CAT scan and blood work. Another year. Yeah! You go, girl. Saturday shuttle launch. This is true. That's a good question. So again, if you go Zaribo, you're going to get a full new, basically, system. It's a very different. You have two different logics. So if your price point is under $300, going bare is going to be your more economical choice. If you don't mind spending the extra money and getting even more quality components, then you go Zaribo. And again, you have to weigh in height. So there aren't any official taller bare like kits and firmwares. There are, but there's nothing official. So if you want to go taller, you have to ask yourself, do I need the height? So if you need the extra height, you have to go Zaribo. Like you can go bare, but you'll have to definitely maintain your own firmware, which is not the easiest thing to do. It's not just going into Prusa firmware and going, I need this to be taller. No, unfortunately, it's not just that. So yeah, it's sexy. Yeah. Well, the normal it's $4 more than typical. Or I guess $5. No, it's $4 more than your typical CFPTG. And you get a full kilogram. You got to remember, it's a full kilogram. Only 18 rolls left. What? I got rolled by getting a roll. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah, it's starting to sell like crazy now. So, okay, I don't see any more Zaribo questions, so I'm gonna end it here. Right now, initial impressions 4 to 4.5. Angry Work Hockeys. Everything's high quality. Everything looks exactly as I would expect it to from Zaribo. Assembly looks like it should be a really fun time. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked to throw on this hot end, get an SKR Zaribo up and running. So I'll figure out a day. So Friday will be the first build video. We definitely need a firmware day. So first build video, and I'm willing to do the gauntlet and see if I can get the entire build done in one day. And then I'll stop that stream, and then maybe on Friday, maybe Friday will just be Zaribo day, and I'll just build this. And then if I'm feeling up to it, I'll end that stream and then start a new stream just for firmware and get it up and running. So I better get my back stretches in so I don't get the tight back. So all right, everyone, enjoy your Wednesday. I'm gonna go disappear. I'm gonna run an FDM lounge hangout chat once I eat some tamales that Teresa dropped off yesterday. So I'm gonna go heat up some tamales. I'm gonna crunch on those, and then I'm gonna hop back on my other YouTube channel where we just hang out and talk 3D printing because I'll talk more about this. I'll talk more about the enclosure. I'll talk more about Atomic CFPTG in the Dark Cherry Red. I'll talk more about some other stuff that came in today. So cool. Chris, do you think you'll do? That's a good question. I haven't found a Creality printer that I like. Now there's some new ones that are coming out that are very tempting. Their belt printer is very tempting. I also hope to do videos on my own printers as they start coming out, but they're going to be much different. They're going to be like inexpensive, as inexpensive you can get for a high quality open source printer, where you have to do all the work. Maybe print it solid, make a kit. Probably not. Maybe, who knows? But I'll definitely look into some of these new ones, and there'll be some Core XY printers. It's just I'm kind of restricted on my spending at the moment because my normal day job as a wedding photographer is non-existent because of the corona. So Chris is not shooting weddings. He's not making as much income. This is my income, is this YouTube. So um, if the income is enough to start buying cool printers, heck yeah. I will start buying more printers and doing stuff. Until then, it's what I can get in for the price. And I don't want to do, there's already enough Ender videos like Chuck and all those guys who do Creality videos. They're awesome. So Chuck and Jim and Shane and Kiersey, uh, they all do a fantastic Creality videos. I don't want to step on their toes because I'm not going to provide anything better that they're already providing. So if new stuff comes out and intrigues me, heck yeah, like I would love to do the Creality belt printer. I'd love to do Railcore. I'd love to do some other printers that are not Prusa. It just finances, man. Where's the donate button? There is a super chat button, so you can always hit the super chat button. But SKR case question: do you use nylon filaments for the textile sleeve? The textile sleeve is actually in PET, because PET self-extinguishes. Nylon would continue to burn, and I buy these from wirecare.com, which looks to be the same place that Zaribo got them from, or something. This is a Beardomatic. Yep, there'll definitely be that coming. I will get back into some Prusa Slicer videos and some other stuff. So, what's up, Sean Butler? Yeah, I saw that Carl has that belt printer. So, 8-Bit Saint, thank you, much appreciated. I will add that to the pool of cool stuff that will be coming. Oh yeah, the build plate. It's using the Prusa build plate, and that's why the printer I'm working on is just a bigger build volume, but with with hopefully a workhorse attitude. Again, getting a workhorse printer under $500, and what I consider a workhorse, one that, like, again, you literally walk up to and hit print, and you never have to dick with it. Like, that's not a printer that I've seen. Like, I owned an Ender, I owned a CR10, I owned a CR10 Mini. I've owned the Prusa Mini is pretty close, but I don't consider it workhorse because the build volume is way too small. Like, just too small to what I consider a workhorse, something that I'm going to print a bunch of components on at one time. So, ooh, the total of the donation stream. I don't have the full value. Some people had to send through the website, so I'm waiting to get the value. But in just on the stream, not considering the ones that what is that? Not considering there's a couple of people had issues donating through super chat. We were at $400, and then there was a person who did 500 that did an extra 100 that wasn't part of that super chat. He did it later through there, and a bunch of 50. So, and some people sent me through PayPal to send through Oscar Mike, and then with my $100 donation and with Dave's $100 donation, it surpassed 700. I don't know what the exact total is, but it's between 700 and 800. So I know, Sergio, you dropped in a big chunk. So once I get that, I'm still waiting. Like, YouTube sent me some of the stuff for it, but they didn't send me everything. So, Kyle with the 20. Thank you, Mr. Kyle. I do have Prusa Slicer. So if you go to Prusa, hold on, PrusaSlicerProfiles.com. Someone is maintaining a list of Prusa Slicer profiles, and if they say pretty profile, that's most likely mine. So, whew. I'm winded. All right, so I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna go eat, and then I'm gonna hop on. We'll probably see Dan and a bunch of other people make big progress on the build. Yeah, I wish I made progress on it. I'd love to start building this right now, but I have to be a good kid. So I'm gonna leave this here. I'm ending the stream. Join me in about an hour for another stream on the FDM Lounge. I will see you all very soon, and let's get happy modding. That's the new motto. So happy modding, and hopefully see you guys on Friday for the official first build video, and maybe all the build video for it if I'm crazy enough. So good night. See you soon, and happy modding.